So new information about the PlayStation Project Q has come out, so let's talk about this device. In terms of the name, this thing has been rebranded from the Project Q to the PlayStation Portal, which kind of makes sense because this handheld device is more or less a portal, pretty much like transferring the screen from your PS5 to a handheld device. So it kind of makes sense to call it the PlayStation Portal. In terms of release date, this thing is supposed to launch sometime this year. So I'm expecting this thing to launch like a month before Christmas or 2 months before Christmas. That way, people who have a PlayStation or people who are thinking of getting a PlayStation might buy this because they think it's good. Then comes to the next question. Is this device actually worth getting? Well, in terms of hardware, this thing costs €200, comes with a 1080p display, 60Hz, it's LCD. And for €200, I think this thing coming with LCD display is just terrible because OLED is just way better for that price range. Like you could buy a phone for €200, €250 and get OLED. So the fact that this thing's like less technologically advanced and can come LCD is just very confusing. Especially for this portable device that people are more likely going to use in bed. Like they'll play the PlayStation from like 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, then just go on the handheld device, go in bed. That's going to be used at nighttime. Like the difference between LCD and OLED is very noticeable at nighttime. In terms of 60 FPS, that's like more or less restricted to the streaming quality and like how much information can be transferred from the PS5 to the handheld device. Because Sony recommends 5 to 15 megabits per second, which is pretty average for most people depending on where you live. So I did a test, right now it's roughly like 12 o'clock, I got 20 megabits per second roughly I think, but that could change at any point of the day. Like 9 o'clock in the morning, you could have good Wi-Fi. In the noontime you could have okay Wi-Fi, but like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, your Wi-Fi could become terrible all due to supply and demand. Now, in terms of the pros of the PlayStation Portal, I think it'd be a good idea for multiplayer if two different people want two separate screens. Probably the most annoying thing about playing like two player on console is the fact that when you actually play it, your screen gets cut in half. Which is kind of annoying. So I think some people will actually pay €200 if they're actually dedicated to playing multiplayer. Because like splitting your screen in half is just really annoying. Like it becomes really small, and depending on like how good your monitor is in terms of like pixels, it can just become like really non-pixelated, really hard to see. Yeah, the PlayStation Portal, I don't really have high hopes for it.